Guys, welcome in. We're going to get straight into this. It's been so long since I've talked to these guys because he was actually the first person that ever learned from me ever. And that's why I wanted to do this video because at the time when Jalen here was actually talking to me, I didn't even have like a YouTube following. I was just actually scared of the phones. Like that's the whole point of why I started my YouTube channel. I was scared of the phones and I had to record myself to like keep myself in line. And he saw that as other people did too, but Jalen's one of the few people and Nick who actually took action on what we were doing. So yeah, just give us like an introduction on like who you guys are and what you're doing right now.
Yeah, so I'm Jalen. I'm the one that reached out to Dan. He was providing a lot of content, and I was just getting into the space, and I wasn't really getting any results. And I saw his methods, and so I reached out to him, and he kind of guided us in the right direction to get to where we are today.
Yeah, and so I'm Nick. Me and Jalen both co-founded Grow Forwards, our digital marketing agency. A little bit of background: we were trying to do some other type of agency before we kind of got linked up with Dan. Um, got nowhere with it. We are kind of about to give up and everything. We kind of figured, hey, last ditch effort. Jalen found Dan, on YouTube when he was getting about 20 views on his videos, so real ground level, and he just reached out to him, got the sauce from him, and we kind of, like Dan said, we took action on it, and that's really, I think, the differentiator between us and maybe the 19 other viewers on the videos is, we made something happen with it, and here we are, probably about a year later, just about, and made crazy gains with our agency, which we'll probably get into here in a little bit.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask different questions on this interview than like normal ones because usually like when I do an interview, it's like right after they've done like coaching, right? But you guys never even got coaching. You guys just took the action, which is what I say all the time because so many people will like schedule calls and they'll be like, well, what about getting like hiring people or how do I get a salesperson? I'm like, wait a second, you're not even there yet. Like, you don't need to get the coaching. You should just watch the videos and you'll have all the answers because I posted on there for free. I don't have a course yet. Just watch it. So yeah, I wanted to ask like different questions because you guys didn't just learn from me. Like, I don't want to take all the credit here. You guys also follow people like Nick Robbins. Like, tell us about that too. Who else have you guys learned from?
Yeah, so after we took your advice, we were getting some success. The ball started rolling and things like that, but we wanted to keep that momentum going and rolling, and so we had big dreams and ambitions. We wanted to be like those multi-million-dollar agencies that we now are seeing ourselves competing with. And so after we was able to save up some money, we realized that we needed coaching because you do need a coach to get to where you need to be. And so we actually reached out to Nick Robbins. He owns a multi-seven-figure dollar agency down in Florida, and he was able to take us to the next level and make us more have that actual presence and bring in that what should I say?
Yeah, it's really kind of let us run an actual business at the end of the day. Like Jalen was saying, like we really kind of trying to carry the momentum. We were having some quick wins. We were getting that traction a little bit, but we saw the bigger picture at the end of the day too. And we realized like, hey, we can keep on doing what we're doing, small kind of scale, side hustle type deal, or, we can invest in ourselves like everyone watching this should be doing. It's the number one key takeaway. If you don't listen to anything else, it's invest in yourself. And so we took action on that and has realized like, hey, if we want to take it to the next level, we've got to kind of make that investment, get a coach who's been in the space, who, has the ideas around them that allows us to put those into action. Different systems, SOPs, once again, just to run it like a business and not a side hustle, which agency is a great way to kind of do that and a great vehicle to get there.
And then I also want to shout out to one of our other coaches, Kimmit Dominguez. He really helped us, build that trust and credibility factor when it comes to onboarding new agents. And he really helped us, with client retention and things like that, because, we didn't ever think that client retention would be one of the biggest factors of the industry. So he really helped us out and helped us get that squared away. So shout out to Kim. I hope you're doing well, man.
Yeah, see, you could tell that you obviously got advice from me because I had the same issue. I was like, wait, I'm getting clients, but then I was like, wait, what? I have to like have relationships and stuff. Like I don't know. But that's the whole problem with like a lot of people who have courses, right? Because they don't actually mention that stuff. And that's why I like to do interviews like this, because they're very transparent. Like obviously I don't really know your guys' situations, but how are you guys able to run this on autopilot? And are you guys doing this full time?
Yeah, so really for the past background a little bit again, we started as agency basically January 1 of 2021. Here currently we're sitting in the beginning first week of February 2022, so just over a year now. First about probably 10 months until about November of 21, we were full time in the agency for the most part, and doing all the sales calls ourselves, everything. But around the summertime, we ended up bringing on an account manager who really kind of helped out the customer retention for us. Another key takeaway from Dan, he really helped us getting that onboarded and kind of that schedule going. But here in the last week, we've actually hired our first sales team member. As both me and Jalen now, we've been able to kind of grow the agency, put it on autopilot, and keep on stacking our bread by getting full-time SaaS tech jobs, so we can really kind of take advantage of the market we're in right now, the skills we've learned from this experience, and keep the Wi-Fi money coming in with us kind of sitting back and making sure everything's running correctly.
And, when going off of that, when we first started, we were cold calling, making hundreds of calls a day. And now we've gotten to the point where we can run ads for our business and people come to us and book a time to speak with us. And so we grew really fast, really quick. And, we took what we learned with our agency, leveraged that to actually, be at these SaaS software companies that we can help grow.
Yeah, and that's really cool too, right? Like obviously we kind of just went like chronologically, like where we started and then where we are now. But what's coming up for Grow Forwards? Like what's the next step now that you guys are back?
So last year our goal was $100,000 in revenue, and we were actually able to double that in our first year. And so this year with our sales reps that we're bringing on, now that we don't have to keep paying ourselves out of the business, we can spend more on advertising. So I'm thinking we can hit 7 figures this year, and that's what we're working for.
Yeah, hopefully coming forward here in the next month or so, once we get kind of the first few reps kind of onboarded, training wheels off, getting fully ramped. Goal is to start doing some 5-figure ad campaigns to really make sure we're getting some VSLs out there. Just really trying to hit the advertising heavy with the paid ad campaigns. Okay, that's where we've seen the most kind of success come so far. And I mean, as you as well know too, Dan, like cold calling ain't really it if we're trying to scale in. It's great at the beginning, and when you have that time, you have that manpower, and have that will. But you get to a certain point where it makes sense to pay for your clients at the end of the day, and that's what paid advertising does. But I'm sure we'll probably in the growth plans as well. From these sales reps, we'll probably bring a couple SDRs on board as well, to support appointment setters too, because at the end of the day, cold calling ain't dead. It's a great avenue, but right now it's got to be smart about kind of our spend and our time. So it's best used, using the channels that we got.
100%, yeah. And what I really like about you guys is you actually took each step, right? Like you're not just like, all right, let's start the agency. I'm just going to start running ads right away. But no, you guys did each step. You guys did the cold calls. Then you got the appointment. Then you did the sales call. Then you closed the deal in order before you ever brought somebody on. And that's really important too. So when you say it's hard to scale with cold calling, for sure. Is it impossible? No, because I still have those systems that I can scale with. But the point that you're trying to make is it's good when you're starting. After a certain point, it's you want to make it definitely autopilot, right? Bring in some ads and stuff like that. And that's why I make cold calling videos, because most people on YouTube who are trying to get started don't have any book of business. So that's why cold calling is the best. And I'm glad you guys can vouch for that. One of my main questions is I feel like a lot of people have time connecting to this kind of story, right? Like anybody can relate to this guy got a deal in 4 weeks, but what about you? You guys have been doing it for a long time. How is it connecting to your old self? Like how have you guys seen yourself change over the last year? Because you guys have done it for a long time now.
It's crazy. I can speak for myself and for Jalen when I say this too. We're hustlers. We've had that kind of grind mentality. Little background, me and Jalen went to college together. We actually met our freshman year doing door-to-door pest control. And so we've always kind of had that grind mentality, entrepreneurship. We were never scared to go out and get rejected. When you're in the 100-degree heat, knocking on doors, having no clue who's going to be on the other side. You got to be able to take no pretty quick and take it in stride. And so we've always kind of had that, once again, this hustle mentality. We've known that, hey, rat race ain't for us. Typical 9-to-5 accounting, typical bullshit like that. Like, we just ain't built for it. And so, at the end of the day, this is probably about, what do you think, Jalen? Like our third or fourth, like really business venture that went ahead and worked. Like we had three that failed before this, that we had gone all into, that we had said, oh, this is what we're becoming millionaires off of. And we fell flat on our face. But the lesson in that, why I bring it up, is that, with every L, you're going to be able to learn a lesson from it. And you got to be able to fail forward. And if we hadn't made those failures before coming to here, we never would have succeeded. Because from all the other ventures, we were able to take, a lesson out of those, something that worked in the moment, but maybe didn't make it all work together. But piecing everything from each of those failures into this is what made it successful. And so, like, for some of them, we learned how to cold call and got comfortable on the phone. For another one, we learned, just about digital advertising and how to really structure an offer, how to go after your ICP, things like that, and just being comfortable in that grind. I think that's the kind of just constant that was there for all of it. And so it's really just stacking everything on top, layer by layer, brick by brick, kind of brought us where we are today.
Jalen, you want to add anything on that?
Yeah. So, like Nick said, we tried many different things, whether it was buying and selling Yeezys and Supreme, or, driving around our college town looking for beat up houses to try and make an offer on. So, the whole reason I got into this space is because I found some $1,500 YouTube guru say, buy this course, get rich. And, I felt for it. And so there was no way in hell that I wasn't going to make my $1,500 back. And so we decided to, take that investment, and now it paid us back tenfold. And so I'm glad that, what we were able to do, I can now leverage into, my future career path.
Hell yeah, and that's really cool because you guys have previous experience. You guys did door-to-door sales. I did too. I did car sales, door-to-door sales. I was selling knives. You guys know, like, Cutco? Yeah, I was doing that. That's actually how I met my wife now, because I didn't want anything to do with her when I met. Actually, it's a funny story. And she was like, come over to my house. And I was like, how can I, like, say, because I was too nice at the time. I would have just said no today. But, like, I went to her house to sell her mom knives. Like, that's how literally we started even talking, because I was just like, okay, cool, I'll come over and I'll have a reason. So you guys had experience. You guys actually had to put in that work first before it actually became successful. So I don't want people watching this to be like, oh, if I just do it, I'll make this much in a year, because I did the same thing. I tried wholesaling. I tried freaking e-com stuff, drop shipping, right? And but once you find your thing, you only have to be right once, and then it just works from there forever. So even if you do coaching, right, with somebody, you can still apply those skills in other places, right? Like Nick, like Jalen, you guys were saying. So yeah, I love it. And for somebody who is starting, what would you tell them? Like, if you guys had to restart the clock, what would you guys be doing, or what would you tell someone who is starting?
Don't quit. Like, it's gonna fucking suck at the beginning. You're gonna get thrown on your face. You're gonna have days where you're calling 200 people and not one person's gonna pick up, or the people that do are gonna chew you out and try to lay into you. But you just gotta have the mindset that pick yourself up every time and make another dial, make another cold email. Like, it's just literally getting in that mindset that you just gotta grind it out. Like, as cliche as it is, I heard a saying probably about 5 years ago when I was still in college. It was, do what others won't today to live like others can't tomorrow. And like I said, corny and cliche, but it's something that I've kind of like lived my life off of, based it off of, because, at the end of the day, people don't want to live with the suck. They want easy results that come quick. And at the end of the day, that's not life. Like, life ain't fair. You got to put shit into motion. You got to actually take that action, and you got to get kicked in the face a few times to actually learn how to do it right. And so, yeah, none of this shit comes easy, to make a long story short. And you just got to be willing to take the bumps and bruises to get to the other side of it.
Yeah, so going off of that, there's no such thing as a get rich quick scheme. I thought this was it,
We
and
tried it all. Don't worry. He's speaking
and
fact.
I realized real quick that consistency and long term goals are everything, and so you always got to think for the long term, and you just got to stick with it and keep building. There's been times when Nick and I, we wanted to quit and give up the business, but well, how can we quit and give it up after we've done thousands and thousands of cold calls and cold emails? And so, you know, once you're in it, just stay consistent and don't be afraid to reach out to other people in the space that you look up to, or that are credible, because more than half the time they are going to be willing to at least hop on a phone call with you to guide you in the right way. So don't ever be scared to reach out to anyone that you think can be a resource to you.
Yeah, I love that. And I always say you got to build that muscle, right? So I love to use this analogy like Pokemon, right? Like you start with the Charmander, and as you start to fight more Pokemon, you become the Charmeleon and then the Charizard. So you got to go through that. Same thing. Don't be afraid to ask people questions. Like get around different Pokemon, right? Get around different people. That way you can evolve. And that's the whole point. So anyways, I'll give you guys the last word for the interview. Anything you want to just say, promote, or even mention to people watching this video, I give you guys the floor.
Yeah, just one more corny quote for you guys to end it for me. Just unequal results and equal opportunities. That everyone can have anything that you want, but you got to put the work into it. We've all got the internet at our fingertips, everything we need to learn. The only thing that's taken out of that equation is you. And if you want to take action and get to where you want, you got to take the first step, and you got to make something happen. Nothing's going to be handed to you.
And I guess what I would have to say is that, guys, all you have to do is watch Dan's videos and copy and do everything he says. That's all I did, and that's how I got to where I'm at today.
How to write that one
Dan
down.
the man. He knows what he's doing, guys. Trust in Dan.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you so much for doing this interview.